Instead, now I feel like Excrucio is going to be, a much more balanced in terms of picking out a composition that has early, mid, and late.
Yeah, I feel like Excrucio able to really pick whatever they want at this point. This team just firing on all cylinders, and it's very exciting to watch them play. I think this is potentially the most exciting team to watch currently in VGL. And these guys, looks like they're locking in over here from side of Noble Esports. It's going to be Glaive first pick, and they're kind of bouncing around, not sure what they want for the second. It's going to be that Adagio. Of course, he's left in there, not picked up, and Excrucio have to know that's coming out.
Yeah, so, you have this buff composition already coming out. What can Excrucio really do against it? They will need, like, the gap closers. They will need somebody that's able to bar out, like, the long team fights, and that's exactly why I'm really starting to understand the Black Feather ban coming out of Noble.
Okay, well, followed
I
up.
just felt like, Excrucio would have taken that Adagio first.
Yeah, definitely. Does make sense there. I mean, Taka Sky. That's pretty dirty, especially coming out of these players specifically here. Now, you talked about what Noble Esports had to do to find success here in this game. Do you think they can do it with this composition?
This composition for the side of Noble is going to be very dependent on how long Adagio can live out through the team fights, and the timing out of the Vanguard and the Gauntlet coming in Arden will be significantly huge. He has to make sure that Adagio is able to kite and peel a little bit before throwing out the Gauntlet and preventing everybody else from collapsing in. You do see a lot of dives coming out of Excrucio. They have that Taka, they have that Sky, and they will be trying to get very deep into these team fights, getting to a position that, they can unleash everything and come out with the win.
Unleash everything, included the Kraken, as well as soon as they're allowed to. Guys, we've loaded into the Halcyon Fold, so let's go ahead and jump over into the game right now and throw it to our casters. Forecourt, Jester, and Sona. Take it away, guys.
All right, guys, we are in. The big boys are here to play, and the first of the NA semifinals are off and away. Now, for those of you looking for the bacon hype, I'm sorry, he's off in the sun getting crispy, but paging Dr. Sona is good to finally meet you, sir.
Yeah, it's good to meet you too. I'm looking forward to casting some very high-quality Vainglory games with you today.
And high quality is exactly what we're going to be seeing here, because Excrucio did fantastic yesterday, but you cannot understate the importance of Xenotech and crew. That Team Noble Esports, has really come together.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I was away in London yesterday, and I managed to catch up with some of the games. It actually looks like we're going to have a little bit of invade here by Noble Esports, trying to stop Joseph and Ezadox, and they do catch out Joseph. He's going to take a lot of damage here. He has to try and run his way away. Should be able to get away on that tackle with Old School protecting him as well. But yeah, I was so surprised to see both of these teams 2-0 at the end of their group stages.
Yeah, everything actually ran a quick 2-0 yesterday. I think our quickest game was 11 minutes 50 seconds, and that was, I believe, Halcyon Hammer's Velocity just absolutely doing work with that Black Feather, which was a big ban. I mean, the Black Feather's day yesterday was extremely good. I don't think he actually lost a match. And on that note, the van here, I think that really did make a lot of sense into it, because again, he's just a very strong meta pick. But that being said, we saw some Taka yesterday as well. I Love Joseph on this Taka is definitely going to be the force to reckon with here for Excrucio. He's going to be the guy instigating, setting up, and looking to just remove Xenotech out of the equation.
Definitely, if you can take that Adagio out, it doesn't really matter that you've given away in that pick and ban phase. The problem, I think, for Excrucio is their lack of hard crowd control. They really struggle. If they get into these team fights and a good gauntlet lands, they're really not going to be able to counter with any crowd control of their own.
Well, yeah, I mean, looking at I Love Joseph, as I said, he's going to be the big star on one side. I would really look to see Uni kind of doing the same thing, trying to get Old School, punt him out of position with that afterburn. They might look for an option here, but it's a little early, I think, for a 3v3 skirmish.
Well, you say that. I don't think these teams think it's too early. They're positioning as if they want to get that skirmish off. We'll just go back and jungle for a little bit, but Excrucio looking as a three-man to see if they can catch perhaps one of Noble Esports out here, but Noble just going to stay around, farm their own jungle safely. We saw Uni on the Glaive jungle yesterday as well. He did a great job in those games versus Hammer's Kinetic, and I'd like to see him bring out that level of skill once more here against Excrucio.
Yeah, Glaive, another power pick right now in the 117 meta. I'm looking at some of these items, though. I mean, Glaive obviously going to be going into that weapon. I can't imagine Xenotech's going to follow, but he should be picking up some crystal. There it is, a little bit crystal now for him. The attack speed, of course, is just to help out with the laning, a little bit of self-buff righteousness. But the double weapon coming out here from Excrucio, that is not going to be a Crystal Sky. That is for sure a weapon Sky.
Yeah, something we just saw in the European qualifier is going to crack out that weapon Sky here as well. Of course, gives you a lot of damage in the early game, but they'll fall off if they get to the later game here against Noble Esports.
Well, the big, like, 1-2 punch that needs to happen is I Love Joseph gets into the back, starts wearing down on top of Xenotech, and then between the fountains, between the reflex blocks and his own heal, they need to be able to punch through that. Otherwise, as I said, like, a long, prolonged fight, not entirely too sure will run for Excrucio's favor.
But at the moment, both the teams just scouting out where they can, trying to pop those scout traps, so denying the enemy's vision. And we just see Noble Esports push the wave, Excrucio pushes the wave, and both these teams bouncing off each other for the moment. There is a scout trap in that bush, and Excrucio will get spotted out if they push any further. But they won't, they'll just back away once more. Both teams quite cagey in the early portion of this game.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more passive, other than that one skirmish a little bit earlier on. Not a lot else going down, at least in the jungle. The lanes keep pushing, ebbing and flowing. If you look at Old School, he's up to 44 CS, but Xenotech 42, 43, 44. I mean, like, they're still pretty much on point. So the back and forth game, not really yielding too much of an advantage. In fact, the gold fairly even across the board as well. About 300 or so between them, and that's mostly the jungle.
Yeah, definitely. And at what point do we start seeing fights here? At what point do one of the teams start to take the advantage? Because we see Olive Joseph trying to go in on that tackle once more, does pop the box down, the afterburn comes out, and now Uni going very low in the middle of the entire Excrucio team. He's going to get taken out here. No, just about manages to escape, and they will get the counter kill onto Old School. We do see that Adagio falling though, and Arden will just have to retreat away. Riceco about able to survive. It's a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, 1-for-1, but Uni, skin of his teeth. When he goes in that deep with double weapon up against him, he is going to have to start building more armor if he's going to be the instigator of the group, because when he goes that deep, there's no escape mechanisms past that. You might be able to get a heal and an Agent of Wrath off from our Adagio to just kind of spread some of that fire, but Adagio's going to be looking for some self-buffing of his own, and, well, they're going to find Uni now here in the jungle.
Yeah, once again, Excrucio go quite deep, but Ezadoc's very low. Riceco will just jump in, try and protect that glaive, but not really going to be too much going on. We see the pressure now coming out from Excrucio. I Love Joseph is going to try and keep killing Uni over and over again.
Well, he's definitely going to be trying, and Uni, like, we even popped a flare. We found that Taka in the bush, but Taka getting the backs, that could be a little bit more of a detriment here to Uni. I don't think he actually knows that Taka's back there still.
Now, I think they think he's retreated out, and we saw Riceco trying to spot him. Uni is here, going to go for that jungle shot. I Love Joseph will jump in with the box, but here's Riceco as well. Now they're going to try and turn onto that Taka. Taka will do a lot of damage. Afterburn comes out, and they will stun him up just for now. Now Uni regenning his way up. I Love Joseph is going to try and get to the shop. Uni goes very low. There's 3 members of Excrucio here now. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Xenotech, the death from above, will not quite connect. And now Xenotech having to try and retreat, but he's not going to be able to survive for long. And Riceco, the final target. And Arden can't do much. Oh, yes, he can. He picks up one. The Fortress will get the counter kill. Ezadox picks it up. But it's 3-for-2 in favor of Excrucio.
And the big thing there was that the gold mine was activated. When we had that first afterburn on top of the Taka, that actually turned the gold mine on. So against Noble Esports, there's actually a 4v3. That gold mine basically had red in his eyes, and that definitely did not play out to Noble's favor. But still, 3-for-2. It's not the end of the world for the ace, because there's not really going to be a lot happening. You can see in lane, some chip damage, but there's not a lot of, big farm that can be stolen away from this one, simply because the only person still alive was Ezadox. But still, I mean, the teams are very, very close, at least at this stage of the game. 1,000 gold between them, but the fighting power is absolutely real.
Yeah, it's such skirmishy fighting as well. Neither team's really making that definitive play that wins them the fight all in. However, you have to think that Noble Esports, with the gauntlet, with the afterburn, can start making these plays. They are losing out to early weapon power, but as soon as they get some armor behind themselves, they should be able to win out these fights.
And that's what I would expect to start seeing. El Riesco eventually will get that Atlas Pauldron. Probably going to see one there on Uni as well. If he's going to be diving deep, the Atlas Pauldron for the attack speed could go a long way.
Yeah, going to need an Atlas Pauldron on Xenotech as well, because he gets taken quite low. Of course, you won't build an Atlas Pauldron on that Xenotech. It was a joke. It's a joke.
El Riesco using that gauntlet for the defense, like, they keep Xenotech alive, but that is a long cooldown,
Yeah,
and
it's
now
a big
Excrucio, like, they're gonna have a little bit more of an advantage in this next team fight, and they're gonna be pushing that for this gold mine. I think that's absolutely the right call here. It's basic. I think it's pretty much just stacked up. It's 8 minutes in. It's pretty close, if not already 300 and 284. does actually go to Sky. That was a nice attempt for a steal, but it was not meant to be. And Excrucio will start bringing this lead bigger and bigger. 2,000 or just shy of it for a lead.
It's what you need to do when you've got double weapon power, though. If you don't take these early advantages, you're not going to win it out as we get later into the game. They do get that 2,000 gold lead, as you say. We saw LVS go trying to jump in there and steal it away, but with the gauntlet down, you really couldn't get a big fight coming out from Noble Esports to try and pressure onto that objective.
Now, you see I love Joseph. He's starting to build a little bit of weapon there as well. He knows that, again, just like Uni, he's going to be a target if he gets into those back lines. And Xenotech with that alternating current, we'll have to see what they do in this fight.
Ezedox is going to get taken very low. Death from Above will stun out El Riesco on that backline. There is the Verse of Judgment. It's going to do a huge amount of damage now. Ezedox, we do see Xenotech trying to retreat his way away, but he'll go down. El Riesco is going to go low as well. He gets taken out. It's a great fight for Excrucio as we see the Afterburn used to try and escape, but Uni doesn't really have anywhere to go here, and Excrucio should be able to pick up the kill. I love Joseph will jump in, pops the box, pops the kill there, and Excrucio pick up an ace.
Yeah, I'm reminded of Metal Gear Solid. You just throw the box off to the side, headshot the guy right there. Didn't actually know Joseph was there. I mean, he probably had a suspicion, but in that box, that's why he actually put the stun on Ezedox. If he could have put it on Joseph, he would have. But the armor is just not there so far. Like that upfront burst, it's enough to keep Xenotech on his toes. And that burst, I mean, he basically becomes a sitting duck right there for the double weapon power. And the thing is, with old school, if he gets that lock on, you're pretty much not going to be able to run away from him. Not with that extra boost, not with the Suri strike. So 7-3 for Excrucio. Double weapon working out at least favorably here early. They'll have to see if they can capitalize here by the time Kraken comes around.
What I love there from Excrucio is they just picked up double Sorrow Blade. They had the perfect opportunity to win that fight because they had so much damage coming down, and now they're just snowballing this lead bit by bit. Once again, they jump onto Xenotech. A good gauntlet will catch up I Love Joseph, but Xenotech should go down here. Old School is on him, and he will get the kill. Now they're going to turn onto Uni, and Uni has no way of escaping. This is gorgeous fighting from Excrucio, showing us the early game power of double weapon power builds. They pick up another ace, and they're 10-3 up.
Yeah, the double Sorrow did very well there. I gotta be curious about what Uni was doing. Like, as soon as that fight started, he immediately separated from his crew. And while they were engaging on top of Xenotech, he kind of needed to save that afterburn for some heal. Like, just try to keep Adagio alive as long as you can. And when he separated like that, I mean, the Zerg was absolutely real. Xenotech did not last long whatsoever. And then just like dominoes, 1, 2, and 3, another ace. So Excrucio playing it up very nicely. Gorgeous is a great word. I don't get to use that one too much, but that was definitely a little bit more of a scratching there from Uni. It's just like, what are you doing, mate?
Definitely, and I love the fact that we're going to see this early aggressive itemization. You see already you've got the double Sorrow Blade as we talked about. You've got the Tyrant's Monocle getting picked up on that Sky as well, so it'll be so difficult for Noble Esports to get back into this game. And you talked about the speed of the games we had yesterday, where we're only 11 minutes in and already 2 turrets down on the side of Noble Esports. So bit by bit, we see Excrucio taking these advantages where they can.
Yeah, well, when you win in 11 minutes, you don't even need the Kraken. Most games did go to Kraken. Some of them went to 2 Krakens, but I don't think we really went past that. I think like 18 or so minutes was kind of our biggest game. But today, I mean, a little bit of a slugfest early is now turning into an Excrucio one-sided. And I believe it was Rome that's saying that Excrucio has a little bit more of the better draft, a little bit more oomph behind him. Noble Esports had some better KDAs, I believe. But when it comes to the actual game, like Uni he just does not exist.
Universal language of death there for Uni as he gets taken out once more, and it's just not been a good game for him at all on that glaive. He played so well on it yesterday in the jungle versus Hammer's Kinetic, and today just been non-existent really. 0-4. He spent more time back at his fountain than he has on the map.
I have to keep reminding myself he's actually not roaming as Glaive. We saw that a few times yesterday. Now he is supposed to be part of the carry crew here, but he doesn't have a Sorrow Blade. He did diverge into a good bit of armor. He does have that coated plate, but past that, like when you go half into 2 separate tiers of items, you don't have a tier 3 to your name. Like that is really starting to show some problem.
Definitely, and this is the point at which we would usually see Noble Esports trying to get back into the game, because they've got Alternating Current and Broken Myth already picked up on that Adagio. That's the point at which you say, we can get back into the game. We do have a little bit of a pause here, but that's the point at which you say you can get back into the game, but they're so far behind. Like, if they were within 3,000 gold here, you'd say, yeah, they're back in this, but they're just miles behind at this point.
Yeah, 9,000 is quite the mountain. So let's get the take here from Humanist and Rome as we kind of deal with this pause.
All right, so a little pause action there. Forecourt, happy to throw it back over to us here at the desk. And yeah, Noble Esports on the back foot here. Excrucio, they have a commanding lead. They are, I mean, these guys, the moment they smell blood, they are all in, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, like you notice for like a lot of the matches that Excrucio play, in the early couple minutes they'll be trading back and forth until they get that feel of it, and then once they do, like things just start really rolling in their favor. And on the side of Noble Esports, we have Uni, who's currently suffering some technical problems, but in my opinion, after you have an advantage in terms of, they were all sitting in that lane brush, waiting for the gank. Excrucio walked up there, they ganked them, and then they all got aced.
Yeah.
I'd take a break too.
Walk it off.
Walk off. Pull it off, guys.
It does happen. So, okay, let's talk about items real quick here. Before this pause gets unpaused and we go back in the game. We have double weapon coming out of Excrucio right now, and one of those heroes is Sky. We see double weapon a lot. When we see weapon Sky, it's usually paired up with Crystal. So what's the call here? Is it because it's just a buff comp and they need that single target damage output?
Yeah, that's what I was reckoning. Like, this is probably like the best case scenario because they do know that Glaive is going to be the one that's always jumping in, especially like it's within his habits. He just used that afterburn in and then get buffed up and then make the plays.
Yeah.
So having double weapon, I honestly I would have stayed double weapon instead of putting Crystal and Taka.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. They're having success with it. And speaking of success, great success. We are into the game. We're unpaused. So we'll throw it back to our casters. Forecourt, Jester, and Sona. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, Uni's definitely out and about and moving once more. So, let's just chalk that big death up to some technical malfunctions on his part. But that is exactly why Noble Esports was hanging back. I thought it was a little bit too early for them just to really kind of turtle at that turret there, Sona.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, 30 minutes into the game, you don't really want to be turtling. You want to still be trying to get that jungle if you can, but once again, we see Excrucio setting up. They're going to play around this middle portion of the map. Noble Esports so defensive. They don't know where Excrucio are. They can't really spot it out. And things apparently are okay at the moment for Excrucio.
Yeah, well, let's hope that things will remain technically sound. Excrucio, definitely more than okay. 11-3. Uni, well, he tried, but that's not going to be the right direction. Old School will live through that, but what I would expect to see here, Sona, is a little bit of farm going back and forth, clear out the jungles, get as much gold as you can. If you look at the gold values here of Excrucio, they're all above 500. Within the next 60 seconds or so, they're going to go back, they're going to get those fusions, perhaps a last item, depending on how much gold they have. Then they're going to look for a fight, a push, or a Kraken, and then, whatever they have left over, a fight, a push, or a Kraken.
Well, talking about a fight, there's the attack of the pack. We do see the reflex box on the gauntlet. They're going to try and get onto El Riesgo. He should go down. The Arden has no more escapes, really. He will get taken out there by Ezadox, and now they turn onto Uni, who tries to afterburn in. Old School is the target, but he gets taken out as well. It's 2 kills already. Only the Adagio left. Xenotech will try and survive if he can, but not for long as he gets taken down. It's a great little fight for Excrucio as they pick up an ace.
Well, alright, a little bit early on the fight call, but they should be able to pick up this turret, no problem. Go grab those infusions, and then, try to go grab the Kraken, who's about 25 seconds out. A little bit of indecision from both sides, but I'm a little surprised that Arden, was kind of the first one to go down, and he just kind of was, at the back of the pack, the weakest of the herd, the injured gazelle, so to speak. So yeah. They took what they could. They got him. Uni is just not having the best of games, not only with the technical, but now coming into this as well. If you see, there's a Crucible and then double reflex block.
Yeah.
So not only is there never going to be a Versa hit, but these guys are starting to actually get on point with canceling out those afterburns. That's why the Sky just didn't die at the end.
Wait, you look at it, like I talked earlier about the crowd control coming out from Noble. You just go through it all now. Like, you've got the gauntlet, you've got the afterburn, as you say. We've got another fight going on here. Uni is the target. El Riesgo tries to jump in, but Death from Above will split up the Noble Esports team. I Love Joseph taking quite low. Here comes the burst, but the reflex block is great. And now they'll jump onto El Riesgo. They've already picked up Xenotech, and now Uni goes down. They can turn for the Kraken if they want, but it looks like they just want the base.
Curious decision, but they got 20 seconds or so, but they're up 17-3. They're up, 13,000, oh my, but 12,000 gold, nearly 13. They got those double infusions going, so yeah, they can definitely do this. Easy. Turrets just melt like butter, my friend, and well, that is going to be game number 1. Now, it is a best of 3, so let's bounce back from this one. Noble Esports definitely not looking as strong as they did yesterday, but everybody went 2-0, so when champions do collide like this, somebody has to go home with a loss, and so far, game 1, it's going to be Noble.
Great play there. Great play by Excrucio. They really used that double weapon power composition superbly well. There was no way for Nobo to get back into that. Just time after time, they forced the fights. They forced everything they could. Really well done.
Look at the gold on Uni. I think that is the lowest competitive gold game past 15 minutes that I've ever seen. It's not even 2,000 gold. He was literally just starved to death. And again, like, he went for some of the weapon, then he went for the coat of plates, which I don't think is a bad move, but he just was never really able to either go into a situation where he could finish the coat of plates into the Atlas or get that sword blade. And he picked up the sword when he came back out of the pause, but I mean, by then that was what, 13 minutes in? Way too late.